You are watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. We're going to break down the latest rumors surrounding the Knicks in a way that only we can do it. We're going to answer questions from subscribers on today's video. And if we didn't get to your question, it's your own dang fault. It means you're not subscribed. And you can change that right now by going down and hitting that subscribe button. You could have just did it. Or just did it right now. Or right now. So don't be a fraud. Hit that subscribe button. Videos every day on the latest Knicks news and rumors. This one coming in from a legend, Trey Miles. Yeah, says, yo, fellas, we got to keep Immanuel Quickley, but I might have to agree with Seeps that if there's a big move to be made, he might be involved. I think that it all comes down to if Immanuel Quickley and the Knicks can agree to some sort of contract extension. He is extension eligible, and the Knicks have until the night before the season starts to get it done. If they don't get a contract extension done, Quickley will be a restricted free agent heading into the summer, and the Knicks may not be willing to pay what it costs if another team is willing to outbid the Knicks. It is being reported that Quickley is looking for a 5-year, $100 million deal. That's $20 million per. That would make him, I believe, like the 30th, 31st, 32nd highest paid guard in the league, and I think that about checks out. I don't want to trade him, but I'll say this. If that extension doesn't get done, yeah, he might be on the way out. This one coming in from To The Moon, we appreciate it, says, do you think Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart are recruiting anybody on Team USA? I do. I do believe that Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, as they are playing for the FIBA men's U.S. national team, that they are recruiting some players. Here is the roster. You got Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Haliburton, Austin Reaves, Paolo Banchero, Mikal Bridges, Brandon Ingram, Jarren Jackson, Cam Johnson, Walker Kessler, and Bobby Portis. I want to ask this question, though. If you could add any of these players to the New York Knicks roster, who would you want it to be? Pick a player for the Knicks to add. Is it Anthony Edwards? Is it Austin Reaves? Is it Paolo Banchero, Mikal Bridges, Brandon Ingram, Jarren Jackson, Cam Johnson, or is it Bobby Portis? Let me know. What player do you want to see the Knicks add from this USA team? Dad Pool on YouTube. What up, my man? Hope all is well. He says, who, in your opinion, is the first Knick to fall out of the rotation this season, and who takes their spot? That is a good question. And I'm not necessarily sure anyone falls out of the rotation because right now, I would say the Knicks have a 9-man rotation. That includes Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, and Julius Randle. That's 5 guys right there. Then you got Immanuel Quickley. That's 6. Donte DiVincenzo is 7. Josh Hart is 8. And then Jericho Sims is 9. Hartenstein is 9. Jericho Sims is 10. So at most you have a 10-man rotation. I don't think anyone falls out of the rotation, to be honest with you. I know it doesn't really answer your question, but it kind of does. Honestly, I don't see anyone falling out of this rotation. I think they're going to rock and roll with that 9-10-man rotation. I will say this. Let's say, knock on wood, Quentin Grimes gets hurt and he misses 2 months, and maybe Donte DiVincenzo or Josh Hart slides into that starting lineup. If they play good, maybe that changes the starting lineup. But I don't see anyone necessarily falling completely out of this rotation, Cam Reddish or Evan Fournier style. Kenya, what up, bruh? Says Knicks should sign Boogie, DeMarcus Cousins. It's actually funny. I was talking with producer Seeps yesterday about this, and who was the person that I said it? That he was a top 5 big still in this league? Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith went on to the Paul George podcast P, and said that DeMarcus Cousins would be a top 5 center in this league. I just don't agree with that. I don't think DeMarcus Cousins has much left in the tank. I mean, you look at his recent years in the NBA. In 2021 and 2022, he played 31 games for the Nuggets and had 9 points per game and shot 32% from 3. He hasn't averaged more than 10 points per game since the 2018-2019 season when he was a part of the Golden State Warriors. I didn't know they averaged 16 points for the Warriors that year. I only played 30 games. Look, should he be out of the league? No. Is he a top 5 center like Stephen A. Smith said? No. Should the Knicks sign him? No. CPJ, what up, bro? Do you think we make a move before the season starts or in the trade deadline? If so, who are the targets? I think that the Knicks are probably going to run with this team to start the year. But we've seen the past couple of years the Knicks have made some in-season moves. 2 years ago, they made an in-season trade for Cam Reddish. Last year, they made a trade for Josh Hart. I do believe a trade is coming. If I had to bet when it is going to happen, I would say before the NBA trade deadline. I think they want to see what this team looks like. But I do think a trade will be coming before the NBA trade deadline. There's just too many cooks in the kitchen right now. Look, who's going to be your your closing lineup? You know, Brunson, Randall, and a big man, whether that's Mitch, Rob, or Hartenstein, are going to be a part of the closing lineup. That leaves 2 spots for RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, Donte DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart. 2 spots for 5 guys that all deserve those minutes. I think a consolidation trade could be coming. If that trade happens, a video is going to happen on this channel because if the Knicks make a move, we make a video. Help us become the largest Knicks channel on YouTube. We're getting closer and closer to 30,000 subs, and we need your help. I'm once again asking for you to subscribe, so hit that big red button right now. My man Kenya, what up, brother? Are the Knicks good enough to compete with their current roster? Compete, yes. I mean, look, you were a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference last year after you beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. You were in the Final Four of the East. You were in the Elite 8 of the NBA. Shoot, the Knicks competed last year. They took the Miami Heat to 6 games, and that's with the hurt ankle, Julius Randle that needed surgery, Immanuel Quickley that was god-awful and didn't play the final 2 games. The Knicks are good enough to compete. Are they good enough to compete for an NBA Finals? If that's your question, my answer is no right now. I do not think the Knicks are good enough to compete for the NBA Finals, but I do believe this team could win another playoff series. I believe they could win 2 playoff series. Can they get to the Eastern Conference Finals? I think they can. I think that's their ceiling right now, but I do think they are a move or 2 away and an upgrade in the starting lineup at a position to be championship contenders. So that's my answer on that. Kenya, appreciate the question. Fabian, what's up, bro? Hope all is well. Says, think the performance from RJ can carry over to the season. We've seen in the past that people come back from Team USA or international play, the Olympics or the FIBA World Cup, and be really good. And most notably, Knicks fans know that from Carmelo Anthony. We've seen him play for Team USA, come into the season in great shape, get off to a super hot start. The Knicks need that out of RJ Barrett, who just had a great game against Germany a couple of days ago. 31 points, 5 rebounds, 13 of 14 from the field, 4 of 4 from 3. That's the RJ Barrett we know and we fell in love with. But the Knicks need to get off to a fast start because the last 2 years, RJ Barrett has been terrible to start the year. I'm actually going to look something up real quick, so give me a second here. The early part of the season, I think, is going to be important for the Knicks because they are going to make a trade. But for RJ specifically, the beginning part of the season is going to be important. In RJ Barrett's career, he shoots 38.9% from the field in November. In his career, he shoots 40% from the field in December. So he usually gets off to slow starts. Hopefully, he's in great shape and he carries over the play and the game-ready skills from Team Canada to Team US, from Team Canada to Team Knicks, the New York Knicks. I hope that's the case, Fabian, because he's going to need it, I'm going to need it, and this team's going to need it. OG, my man, if we do need to move RJ, what can we get for him in IQ? RJ and Quickley? You're trading both those guys in a trade? Looking at a guy like Paul George, I think. I think you're looking at a guy like Zach LaVine. Maybe a guy like Brandon Ingram. Those would be 3 guys that I would keep my eye on. But yeah, I hate seeing trade RJ and Immanuel Quickley, but I think the Knicks are going to make some sort of consolidation trade. It gets me upset to think about it because I want to see these young kids with New York cross their chest, fulfill their potential. I just don't know if they're ever going to get there. But honestly, I think the Knicks are, and I would never do it, I think they're going to trade Quentin Grimes. I really do. You got Donte DiVincenzo and you got Josh Hart. How many of those scrappy 3-and-D players do you really need? You don't have an Immanuel Quickley replacement. I think it's RJ and Quentin Grimes is the trade. We already know they talked about trading RJ and Quentin Grimes for Paul George. Could they revisit that? I don't know. Tricky Nicky says, I feel like with the Sixers drama that Embiid might be incoming soon. How do you feel? What do you mean by soon? Days? Weeks? Months? I don't think Joel Embiid is getting traded this year. I think he will finish the year with the Sixers. But let's say this. The Harden stuff hits the wall. Shit hits the fan. It goes south. The Sixers do not make it to the second round of the playoffs. Could then Joel Embiid, former CAA client, formerly represented by Leon Rose, good friends with Leon Rose. Leon Rose was invited to his wedding. Could he then request a trade? I think next summer, a year from now, is the summer of Joel Embiid if the Sixers fall flat on their face. Before we bounce on out of here, I want to ask this question. Name a random Knick in the comment section. No, Carmelo Anthony is not random. Patrick Ewing is not random. Allen Houston is not random. Latrell Sprewell is not random. I'd say Moochie Norris is random. I'd say Bino Udrih is random. I'd say Steve Francis, Pablo Prigioni. Give me your name of a random Knick down in the comment section. What about like Big Shot Bob, Chauncey Billups? Remember, you could also follow me over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to Knicks Now. Love doing these mailbags, just getting to interact with you guys and answer your questions. So if you want more of these, hit me up on Twitter and give me a follow.